Difficulty with shoulder flexion, or the ability to raise your arm, is one of the most common issues that I see stroke survivors deal with. So today we're going to be going through 2 sets of progressive exercises to help you improve the ability to raise your arm. Let's get into it. We're going to start with just a few seconds of warm up by doing some shoulder rolls. So all I want you to do is move those shoulders in a nice circle, either forward or backward, whatever feels better to you. We're just getting those shoulders ready to move and work. Doing great. Give me just a few more seconds and then we're headed off into our first exercise. Fantastic. Stop there. We're going into shoulder protraction and retraction. So let me show you the movement first. This is where we're pushing shoulders forward and then bringing shoulders back. Very nice. So you're like, Elise, why are we starting with exercises where we're not actually moving our arm to raise it? There's a good reason for that. When we raise our arm, we have to have both shoulder movement and shoulder blade movement, or scapular movement. When one or both of those areas is weak or is damaged, we don't get full range of movement. We're not able to get overhead. And that's because the shoulder and the scapular muscles have to work together to give us that full range of movement. And that's just how our body is designed. So we have to work scapular muscles with exercises like this and with this next exercises. So we're gonna stop here. We're going into shoulder shrugs. This is another shoulder scapular exercise that works together. So all you're doing is bringing shoulders up towards your ears and then pushing them down to the ground. Fantastic. Keep it going. Up to your ears and down to the ground. So we've got to work out those scapular muscles as well so that they can get stronger, because if we only focus on shoulder muscles like deltoids, we're not going to get full range of motion. We have to focus on scapular muscles as well. So that's why these first 2 exercises are in here, even though we're not actively working on raising your arm. You know, if you've ever painted a house, they say it's 90% prep work, 10% actual painting. And that's sort of the truth here. While, you know, we've got to do these preparatory exercises to get our scapula stronger as well as our shoulder muscles stronger. Rest there for a second. We're moving into the next exercise, which is shoulder flexion, but in what's called a gravity eliminated position. So I told you these were going to be progressive, so they get progressively harder. And what this is going to look like is taking your hand, affected, involved side, and you're gonna slide that hand forward. You're pushing from your shoulder. So pushing from your shoulder. So you're getting that flexion movement. Now, if you have a higher surface, like let's say you're sitting at a couch with a coffee table, or perhaps you're sitting at a kitchen table, you're gonna raise that arm up and place it on that surface and try to push it forward. I want you to try to push from your shoulder though. So you'll notice I started with my elbow, but now I'm trying to keep that more straight, because we really want to attack shoulder flexion, right? The ability to push that shoulder forward, in essence, pushing the whole arm forward, and then we're pulling it back. Great job. Okay, so now we're moving into active shoulder flexion. This is where you're gonna be helping with your uninvolved side. So all you're gonna do is try to turn your thumb up if you can. If you don't have that movement yet, that's okay. But what you're gonna do is support your affected or involved side and raise up as high as you can without pain, without discomfort, okay? That's really important. Safety is very important. We don't wanna be pushing through pain because we don't wanna cause any damage. We don't know maybe why that pain is going on. You may know, but I don't know. And so we wanna take precautions and make sure that this is safe for you. So we're just raising it up. Fantastic, let's just do a few more. Fantastic, let's do one more. Raising it up. All right, great job. So guess what? We're at our last exercise, and you've probably guessed by now, this is active shoulder flexion. So this is your chance to try it on your own as best as you can. So you're gonna stay in that same position. You're gonna raise that arm up as high as you can we're trying to keep a couple things in mind here as you practice this. You want to try to keep your elbow straight as you can. That may or may not be possible for you depending on where you are in your recovery journey. And that's okay. But if you can, try to keep your elbow straight. Another thing I want you to consider is, are you hiking up that shoulder as you're trying to raise your arm? If so, I recently made a video that you can go check out clicking on the card up here, or there's a link in the description, to reduce shoulder hiking. And it's got a couple different techniques and exercises that can help you. So you may want to go check that one out too. So those are a couple things you want to keep in mind. And of course, we're not pushing through any pain or discomfort. Go ahead and take a rest there. We've got about 20 more seconds of just nice little rest break here. I want you to go ahead and take a nice big deep breath with me, in through your nose and out through your mouth. These rest breaks are just kind of a chance for us to recalibrate, reset, grab a drink of water, take a moment before we start into the next set. All right, so we're going back into our first exercise, which is the shoulder protraction and retraction. So this is where we're pushing our shoulders forward and then we're bringing them back. Now, if you do have some level of arm movement where you can raise your arm a little bit, you can try to keep your arms out in front of you and push those shoulders forward and backwards with your arms extended like this. If you don't have that movement, and that's why you're here working on it, that's okay. You can just move from your shoulders, and that's fine too. Remember, we are working both shoulder and scapular or shoulder blade muscles here because we have to have both to get more movement at the shoulder. You're doing great. Keep it going for me. Got a few more seconds. Pushing those shoulders forward and then opening the chest by pulling those shoulders back. Great job. Moving on to the next exercise, we're doing shoulder shrugs, where you're pulling those shoulders up to your ears, pushing them down to the ground. Fantastic. Pull them up and push them down. Now, you may notice that your affected or involved shoulder does not move as well as your other side. Okay, that's totally fine. I just want you to try your best. And if you're getting some movement, that's better than no movement at all. But if you're also starting without movement, this exercise routine may be a little too challenging for you, but I do have a few for either no movement or little movement that you can check out in these cards up here. All right, so keep it going. We're finishing off with these shoulder shrugs. Got about 15 more seconds. Push those shoulders up and down. Again, we're hitting our shoulder blades hard here as well, right? We're doing some of those preparatory movements and exercises to help you get ready for that full movement. All right, next exercise, we're going into shoulder flexion in gravity eliminated. So this is where we're pushing forward from the shoulder, pushing forward, and then pulling that arm back. Again, I'm kind of pretending here that I'm setting my hand on top of a kitchen table, maybe a dining room table, and all you're doing is using that shoulder to push that arm out and then back. And this is progressive because we want to work up to that active movement, right? You may find that, hey, this is the best shoulder flexion movement you're getting. You know what? Go back and practice all the exercises up until this one, and then repeat those if the last two are too difficult for you. Find what works for you, modify it. You don't have to go through every single one that I show you. Find what works for you. Everyone is starting out at such a different place. And finding what's appropriate for you is really important. Okay, we're moving on to the next one, which is the assisted shoulder flexion. So this is where you're taking your unaffected, uninvolved side, and you're helping to raise that arm. You're kind of supporting under the elbow. You're gonna try to turn that thumb up as best as you can, and then you're gonna help raise that arm. Good. Again, we're not pushing through pain. We're raising in a comfortable range of motion. So for you, that may even just be here. If you start feeling pain with just a little bit of movement, stop there. That's okay. If you can go a little bit further without pain or discomfort, great, try that. Fantastic. Do what feels right for you. Like I mentioned before, everybody's coming to these videos at very different places in their recovery journey. So have to find what works for you. All right, last exercise. Now we've moved on to active exercises, active shoulder flexion. So staying in that same position, but without any help, you're gonna try to raise that arm up. Fantastic. And bring it back down. Good. Now, as you're raising, remember to keep in mind, you're trying to keep that elbow nice and straight as best as you can. And you are also trying to keep that shoulder down, stopping from hiking, right? So raise that shoulder up. Doing great. Let's do that one more time. Fantastic. We're almost there, folks. Don't quit on me now. Good. Let's do 2 more. Raise it up and down. All right, give me the last one. Raising up and down. Oh, great job, everyone. Fantastic. I hope you're feeling good after that workout, after that progressive workout. All right, as always, I'm gonna be leaving a link down in the description if you'd like to sign up for the email list, which gets you free stroke recovery tips and motivational emails every week, as well as a free copy of my ebook, The Stroke Recovery Pocket Guide. Before you go, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a like if you found it helpful. And if you do find our content helpful, please consider gifting post-stroke, either by giving us a super thanks by clicking in the YouTube bar below, by giving us a one-time donation via PayPal, or by becoming a Patreon member where in exchange for a monthly donation, you get access to cool perks like social media shoutouts, behind the scenes footage, and even YouTube shoutouts, of which I have one today. Thank you so much, Heather G, for continuing to contribute at the Empower level. We so appreciate you and can't do what we do without you. And of course, thanks to all of our other Patreon supporters. You all are champions. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.